Can I lift an entire aircraft with a simple piece of string? Well, here's a string attached to this 15-pound weight. And as you can see, it can easily... Obviously, that didn't work. But what if I can lift an entire aircraft with just a simple piece of string? This is polypropylene braided rope. It can lift over 1,000 pounds before it breaks, and it's what we typically use at the Tucson Soaring Club to tow gliders into the air. This is a simple piece of twine that I stole from my wife's arts and crafts closet. It is rated to hold thank you notes on mason jars. Can this be used to carry a glider all the way into the air? In the US, Aerotow is the most common way to get a glider in the air. The glider flies behind a tow plane, separated by a rope about 200 feet long. Think of it as water skiing up into the air. When a glider is flying by itself, it's like a ball rolling down a ramp. Gravity is pulling it, and it's simply going down the ramp. But when a glider is on Aerotow, it's being pulled behind an airplane. And in that case, the forces normally associated with flight totally apply. Lift of the wing counteracts the force of gravity, the weight of the glider, and the tow rope pulling it is a thrust force overcoming the drag of the glider. Is there any way that we can understand how lift and drag are related to each other? Well, fortunately for us, each glider comes with its own flight manual. Here's an ASK-21, one of the most common trading gliders in the world, and one that we use at our glider club. Inside the glider manual, you get a glider polar or a flight polar. This shows you the relationship between lift and drag. Lift, or how far forward you're going, to drag, how quickly you're descending. That shows you that angle, that ramp that the ball or glider would go down in still air. We can use this to find the amount of drag that a glider creates as it's flying. Typically, gliders fly on tow between 60, 65 knots is a very normal number. So if we go to 65 knots, I'm converting from the metric kilometers per hour and meters per second, we can come down this line to where we intersect the curve here for the glider when there's two people inside of it, 570 kilograms or 1,256 freedom units. If we then go over to the side, we're coming down at a speed of 1.9 knots. Now let's go to our lift to drag relationship. Okay? How far are we going forward, or how quickly we're going down? We're going forward 60 knots. And if we're going forward at 60 knots, that means that we would naturally be coming down 1.9 knots. This gives us a lift to drag ratio of 32 at this speed and weight of the glider. But we can replace those values with the information about how much force is required, because lift to drag ratio literally tells us that the amount of lift we need is the weight of the glider. Okay? That 32 to 1 ratio is equal to 1,256 pounds divided by the amount of drag that the glider creates. In this case, It's just a very tiny 39 pounds of drag in level, unaccelerated flight. Now let's try that original experiment all over again. This time, I've got 37 pounds of weight, which is as close to 39 as I could get with the weights I had. And we need to remember, with these equations, it assumes that the glider is in straight, unaccelerated flight. If we're flying instead of straight at an angle, that'll create more drag and more force on the rope. If we're in a turn and need more lift, that'll create more force on the rope. If it's a bouncy day and we're creating a lot of slack line, that will create more force on the rope. So yes, a string can be used to just tow a single glider. But if we do anything different, it creates more force on the rope. Can we use a string to carry a 1,000-pound glider through the air? Yes, we can. But it's by far better to use an actual tow rope to do it. It's much stronger and it's designed for the purpose. If you like this video, then go ahead and subscribe for more tips on why gliders fly and how you can become a glider pilot.